it's Nikki. Today I want to talk about a new favourite for me that has been a big part of our life for the last 6 months since we've been in this house. We have discovered painting and I've never dabbled. I got to 40, I'd never dabbled in really painting walls before. I painted, I think, one of my friend's first uni houses with her, and it was like a very light shade of lavender. That just shows the timing. But when we moved into this house, we were really excited to make it our own, to put our own stamp on it. It didn't require any big structural work. Which I was glad of, because I think that would have scared me too much. We did have all the electrics done because they weren't very safe, but now that's all done. But I have been getting involved with paint, and I think the thing with paint is, or with any DIY or anything like that, when you are like a grown-up person, there's this assumption that you know what to do, and I really didn't. So I thought I would just share a few things that I've learned along the way today, and some things that I've found, some things that I've liked. And yeah, let's get into this conversation. Okay, so two things that I did was, well, the first thing that I did, well, these are the two basically paint companies that we've used, which are Farrow and Greene. And you can go to all kinds of paint shops and things like that, but I have to say I started with colours. I started with things that that sort of sparked my interest, and also I knew that the painting that we were going to do, it wasn't, we don't live in a big country manor or anything like that. So it felt manageable in terms of the space that we had of painting things. So the first thing that I did was, and this is something that I often do with any sort of new project, is that I started to gather. It felt like that sort of moment where I went on websites, I thought about colours, I noticed things that I liked, I went into shops, I asked questions. And I think asking questions is the first thing, because you have to be afraid. You can't be afraid to look stupid, basically. And I'm sure I asked some very, very simplistic questions. So the first thing that I did in terms of the space was I asked myself how I wanted to feel in the space, and what was its purpose, and what's the lighting situation. So this room that I'm in right now, it has 3 windows. So the windows are sort of like that. This house was built in 1890, I believe. So a long, long time ago. So I think it's Edwardian. I think so. Anyway, this room in particular, this is verdigris. Is it on here? Yeah, verdigris green. So it's this. If you can see, how am I going to do this? There we go. So it's, this is really difficult to do. So it's this one here on the Farrow thing. So I knew that that was going to be a situation. Also, I want to get loads of other like soft furnishings and various things, but we're just not there yet. So that was like a big starter point. And the way that it's gone on, it's really, really lovely. And in the daytime, when it's been spring, summer, I don't really know what it's like on a winter's day, but I feel like we're heading in that direction, aren't we? It's really bright and lively and uplifting. And then at nighttime, it tends to go much more sultry and dark and dramatic, and it does kind of change. The wall, again, I told you it's going to be difficult. This neutral here, it looks bizarrely quite sort of grey stony here, but it is quite white, is schoolhouse white. And this was, it felt like the safest neutral. So another thing that we did was that we went into shops, and lots of these paint shops have little plaques, or they have sort of bigger samples. And what they do is they sort of get the sort of tile shapes basically that are in all the different colours, is they put them on top of each other or they move them around. So they might say there might be 3 colours, for example. So say in this room, if we wanted this green, we wanted a neutral, and then maybe we wanted a pink or something like that. Trying to find the right combination of what is the pink, what is the right sort of shade. They would put those things together. And that was so much easier actually seeing it like, oh, okay, that's what it is. It's not that white, it's this. So this schoolhouse white, we've got it here. The rest is green, but we've also got it in the hallway. But here's another thing that I wanted to do. So at the top of our stairs, we've got a big, a big wall. It's no more complicated than that. We've got a big wall at the top of our stairs. Stick around for more DIY chat. But I wanted to have that sense of when you go up the stairs, I wanted it to feel, again, going back into this feeling thing, really uplifting. And it's quite a dark space, our landing, because there's not much light. All the rooms kind of go off it, but it's not particularly bright. So I went for this, which is Dutch orange, the crest of golden crested wren. And I had the idea that we would do this all over the landing, but Matt said no. And no, Raby, no. And I hate to say it, but I think he's right. I think it was right what we did. So we've just done one wall and the rest is that schoolhouse white. But because of, I don't have the schoolhouse white thing, because I was able to do that thing in the shop of checking the schoolhouse white with this green and doing it with the orange, I worked out that it could work with both. And I think that's been really good in terms of painting stuff, is being able to use the stuff that you have. Because paint's quite expensive, you know, you don't want to, it's one of those things you don't want to make mistakes with it. So, yeah, that's been really useful as well. And we've used it to kind of touch up in the bathroom, like the smaller one. And yeah, that's been really good too. Also, we've used it in Luna's room, and Luna has, let's see, so moving on to the little green, her favorite color is yellow. So we went for this. Can you see it here? Which is, it looks much more orangey in this light, but it's called Mr. David. We got a sample of this trumpet, but that was like living inside, well, for us and our light and our house and all the rest of it, that felt like you were living in a yellow highlighter pen, and it just felt a bit bright for a bedroom. But this is much softer, this Mr. David, and also, again, it works with the schoolhouse white, so that was really great too. Another one that I can show you, I'm not going to go through the whole house because it's really boring, but we've got some atomic red from Little Greene in Oski's room, which he loves because he's an Arsenal supporter, and yeah, it's a really great one. Another tip that they gave me was that they asked me, what do you use the room for? As in, what is the traffic like? So in high traffic areas, so halls and landings and things like that, where people are putting their bags on or moving around, they said to go for a modern emulsion, which is the one with the Farrow ball. And then other things, so bedrooms, ones that basically, you know that you're not going to scuff too much. We went for the estate emulsion. So knowing what kind of paint you want based on the kind of room, and likewise with the bathrooms, we know what kids are like. They brush their teeth or they turn the tap on and things kind of splatter everywhere. So in there, that modern emulsion has worked really well. That's it. That is it. Also, we've tried to use, I went to the Farrow Ball shop and the Little Green shop because they've both got shops in Islington, which is not too far away from where we live, and that was quite nice to be able to do. I can't remember what the name of the road is called. I think I do remember. It's called Cross Street. So it's off Upper Street, and there's quite a few paint shops down there, quite a few interior shops, And yeah, that was quite good to pop in and see and get samples and just to talk to people. I think that's really important as well, is not to be scared of the process. And another thing which I was going to say, what was I going to say, is to, if you can, buy paint as and when you need it, because the temptation can be, right, I'm going to buy 4 tins of paint and that's probably what I'm going to need. And you might not end up doing that, because some walls will, and we found that a little bit as well. Sometimes we had to order more. Sometimes we were like, wow, this is really going a long way, because you don't know how your wall's going to take the paint. And also with the yellow, for example, we were painting over a really dark wall. So we needed a bit more. And it's been a really enjoyable process, which I've really loved doing. And maybe we'll do it all again in a few years. But I feel like there's more stuff to do. Also, one thing that we wanted to bear in mind was things that would have longevity, things that would work with stuff that we already had. So when we were thinking about, duvet covers or curtains that we already had, or working with the floor, so we've got wooden floors throughout the whole place, or even like bedside lamps, trying to pull together things so we didn't have to buy everything new, and that we could chop and change things and make things work, and try and be sustainable in that way, for sure. Painting always takes longer than you think. That is another final thing that I want to say on that. It always takes longer. Always, always, always. So allow plenty of time and enjoy the process. And if you get it wrong, if you make a mistake, you can paint over it. And I know sometimes that can feel like an expensive mistake, but trust yourself. Trust yourself that you'll give it a go, and you can, shake things up. And being somebody that had lived in a lot of magnolia houses for a lot of years, it's really nice to have some colour. It's changed the way that I feel in the rooms. And one final thing that I should say is, this sounds really hippie-ish, but really listen to what the house is telling you. And I knew that this house was not going to be like it wasn't going to be these tones that I'm wearing. Like, it wasn't going to be a greys and a sort of a bluey house at all. It was going to be, and not like a pastel colour. So lots of the colours that we have in this house are quite pungent, are quite bold, are quite extreme maybe. But somehow the house goes, yeah, let's do that. That's what we want. And it feels really nice. That's it for Painting Chat today, pals. Thanks for listening. As I mentioned, it's Farrow and Ball, Little Greene. These are ones that we've used, and lots of it we've done ourselves as well. And we've had some family to help out. We paid somebody to do the hall stairs and landing, and that painter used some different paint that was his. And I have to say, it hasn't been as good. It's already looking a bit worse for wear. Not worse for wear, but a bit scruffy around the edges, So I feel like the paint that we've bought has been a bit of an investment. And 6 months in, so far so good. We're really loving it. And that's it for now. I'm going to go. Lots of love. Bye.